Peace and blessings. Welcome to my happy place, Diva G's Reborns. I am Regina, and on today we will be working on this lovely kit with the open mouth. This kit is named Ginger. I started working on her open mouth a little bit off camera. What I like to do before I really do the painting, if there's an open mouth, I like to kind of paint the mouth. This way I can manipulate it without worrying about paint rubs. The only thing I did do was I did a little bit of veining on her with my pencil, um, Prisma color pencil. This is the light Cherusian blue. It is PC 904. I think it gives a nice vein type color. Let's see. I don't know if it's showing up. Let's see. Need another. I don't know if it's showing up a little bit better. Well, in any event, the main thing I wanted to go over was before I paint the kit, I like to do, if it's an open mouth, do some of the mouth that would require me to have to squeeze the face. And I like to also begin shading the nose. And since I have that same shading color, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and shade the ears. Okay. So yeah. So what I did was I went in with the nose and the ears with a little bit of the eyelid purple, a little bit of my blue wash, red wash, letting each layer dry. And then I went also in with some of my medium brown. So we have what I think is a pretty realistic shading color. And once I do the face, I think it will blend in quite nicely. So on today, I want to continue working with her mouth. What I did with her mouth was, um, if you can see, she has a tongue, she has gums on the top, and maybe these could be gums on the bottom or just the inside of her mouth. So what I did was to create a certain amount of depth in the back of the mouth. I went in with burnt umber, and well, first I did the entire mouth with the eyelid purple, the entire mouth, tongue, and everything. And I did the eyelid purple twice. Then I went in the very back with a small brush, like a detail brush, and I went in with the medium brown. I built that up a couple of layers, and then I went in with the burnt umber. Her tongue, I went in and around the gum area with the red wash. Okay, and then what appears to be below the tongue, okay, what I did was I went in with another layer of the eyelid purple, and then I went in with the blue wash. Because the mouth, you want to try to create some depth, and the palate, the hard palate of which is the roof of the mouth. What I did was I went in also with that red wash. So you can kind of see a little bit of color. So what I will do on today, I want to build up some of what, the mouth. And I do want to begin, once I have that completed, I do want to begin to work with the mid face and doing the rest of the face. What I did also was, since this is a small area, using paints. What I did in between, after I would dry it with my heat gun so that I would have the opportunity to work. What I also did was I went in and I did some coloring. I did the veining, some modeling, and I went in with my medium brown color, and I also blushed the feet. I did not yet put the blue yet, but I will be putting a little bit of blue here. So like I said, I did blush the feet and the toes. I'm thinking of possibly making um, this kit a little bit darker with the burnt umber. I'm debating. Um, I possibly will do that. Um, Also, we have here the arms. Same thing. I did the blushing on the hands and the fingers. Okay. Oh, of course, I did some creasing. I did the creasing with the pencil. And the other leg and foot. I do like this color. However, I might go darker. I'm trying to see what she's telling me to do. So here's the hand, the other palm. I enjoy doing this part of the hand so much. This part when it's closed like that. I enjoy that. Now what I did was with the mouth, some of the brushes that I did use, trying to the brushes that I did use, I used the Christina Woolley hairbrush because the bristles are very fine. They're very fine if you can see them. No, you can't. Okay. You can maybe see them, how fine they are. So I use that brush and I use my detailer brush as well as my angle brush, smaller brushes to get inside the mouth. And what I also did with the mouth, I went in and to get that kind of depth in the back going toward the throat, um, I did clean it up a little bit with my cosmic co- cosmetic wedges. The excuse me, I'm sorry, with the Q-tips, the ones that oftentimes they use with microblading. So I was able to kind of clean it up with this as well as with toothpicks. And when I clean it up, what I use is I just use distilled water so that I could kind of get that shape and clean up where I need. Now, what I would like to do is, again, do something a little bit more color with the heart palette. I want to go in a little bit more with color on the tongue and on the whatever, I don't know, I can't quite tell if this is the gums on the bottom or if it's just kind of like the inside of the mouth. However, I do want to really begin to do that coloring on today. Just one moment. Let me get my coffee. Okay, so I'm going to go in her mouth. I think what I want to do is I want to kind of go around the sides and to put some coloring, a little bit more color on the side of her mouth. You see, I'm pushing it out. Now, mind you, if I had painted her on the face and everything, there would be all kind of paint rubbed on her by me doing this. Without the paint on her, she's okay for me to do this. Oh, I did do a little bit of creasing under, on her chin, and but I did that with the pencil. So yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go in her mouth. I think what I want to do, like I said, is to go in a little bit around with my red wash. I like to use the wash. I will probably go ahead in with my deeper red um, in certain areas, but I like the wash because I like to build up slowly. So that's the reason that I like using the wash. I'm just gonna stir up the paint because you know it always settles. So I'm just kind of mixing it up. So how has everyone been doing? You can put that in the chat. I'm here, and we've had a little bit of snow. It's in the 30s, so it's not, really cold. Cold weather is something that, is pretty common here um, in the winter time. So what I will do is I'm going to squeeze her face and I'm going to kind of push out her mouth again. Let's see if I can show you the area that I really want to do now. Okay, the area that I really would like to do now would be, you see the sides here, okay, on each side, because inside her mouth, it doesn't have like really any color because I worked primarily on the tongue, the hard palate, and the back of the mouth. So on the side, to me, that looks like maybe, part of the jaw. So it would be that kind of light reddish pink color. So what I will do is I'm going to take my Christina Woolly brush because it's thin, and I'm going to go in with that as we begin to build up the mouth. Maybe the next time I do a doll with a mouth, I'll do that entirely on camera. When I started doing her, I wasn't really thinking about um, it didn't dawn on me to tape it to make it a video because I was working with our baby Kyle, and who is complete now. So I was really working with him, and I just kind of had him more, I guess, on my radar, doing things, dressing him and everything. So when I started working on this baby, I didn't think about it, to be honest. Believe it or not. And then I want to pounce it out. Now, when I use the red wash, you definitely really don't see much of anything when I'm doing it, which is quite all right with me because I do like to just kind of build up slowly just in case. I don't like the result. I can build it up slowly and then kind of see what I'm working with. Okay, so you might be able to see where it looks wet here on the corners. Okay, that's where I went in, kind of like on the corners, kind of like what would be the inside of the mouth, like the jaw area. So I'm going in there with some of the red, just kind of placing it in strategic places. The jaw would be possibly, if you look at some pictures, the jaw might be a little bit lighter than the tongue. So that's what I'm kind of working to try to achieve, a little bit of that light color. It's good to generally work with possibly a reference photo if you can find a photo similar to what it is that you're trying to do. Now, this way with the mouth, it looks normal. It looks, I think it looks realistic. But of course, we still have to build up. We have to build up. But I mean the depth, the shadow that's there. You can kind of see that. So I'm still working on it. Now, when I say a reference photo, I went on, what do you call it? Pinterest. I think it was Pinterest. Might have been Google. I don't remember right now. But nonetheless, what I did was I printed out these pictures to kind of give me an idea of how to paint the mouth. Okay, just to kind of give me a little bit of an idea. Although these pictures are not obviously exactly like the tongue, the face that I'm painting. This one is a little bit more similar. However, you do see some lower gums and some shadow here. This one is very similar in a sense to the baby that I'm painting, but not completely, because obviously it's a different, it's a kid. This is a kid, actual baby, but there are some similarities. So I've kind of worked between looking at both of these to get an idea of the depth. This one kind of gave me the idea of the coloring to the back of the mouth. However, this baby does not show you the palette, the hard palette. So just knowing that that's supposed to be, kind of like the same color as the jaw area, I went on ahead and I made that the red, the what I'm using as my red wash. But I do suggest, if you can, just, your own child or grandchild, neighbor's child, or what have you, if you could take a picture, different things to get an idea of how to make the coloring on your baby. Um, Now, these, like I said, I don't know if I printed them off of Pinterest or did I just do Google. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. But um, what I did was I saved them on my phone, and I went in Google and I ordered it as a picture, and I had it sent to me so that I would have a little bit of an idea. So yes, what I like to do, again, when I'm doing small areas, is use my heat gun. Now, what I did with the heat gun is I kind of dried it in the sense of if it were drying by air, like air dry. Obviously, I'm using air dry paint so that it would dry. See, I have my phone connected here. Phone is charged. So let me see. I'll put my phone, I think, over there. Let me check the text message. Okay. So what I want to do is make sure that the area cools down before I paint it. So I'm just kind of testing it, and it still feels quite warm. So I'm not doing anything. I don't want to do anything with it yet. Oh, one of the areas that I did paint while I had the eyelet purple out was I kind of went here, a little bit under. Let's see. I went inside here to give color. Okay, here. And I did do some creasing here. But I really, like I said, I didn't want to use any real paints anywhere else because I knew I wanted to squeeze the face here and there. Now, vinyl, you can heat it because there are heat set artists that paint vinyl dolls. But this is obviously air dry paint that I'm using. So when I dry a little bit, I'm just using the heat gun, going over it, quickly for about, I don't know what was that, maybe a minute and a half, 3 minutes or something like that. Now, it is said that if you can use the heat gun and go over it for, I believe it's 3 to 5 minutes, up to 8 minutes, you can actually cure the paint and, move forward. Um, However, I am just trying to, mimic the air dry process, and then I'm going to go over and paint it some more when she cools down a little bit. I guess in between while I'm waiting for her to cool down, I'll pause the video. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with the way it's coming along. I'm going to build it up a little bit more with this paint, my red wash. After I do a couple of more layers, I just did one layer, so I think I'll do two and I mean three. I'm sorry, three, and see how that looks. I don't have a set number in mind. It's just what's going to give me the look that I'm seeking. I'm not worrying about slightly going outside the lines, although I would like to make sure that I stay within it, but I'm not beating myself up about it because I will clean with the Q-tip, the pointed Q-tip. Let's see, you may not really be able to see where I'm painting. Let's see, can you see that? I'm going right here. Let's see if you can see here. And then here on the sides. Because what I want is to have that jaw color look red. Not bright, but just some color. Some color is there. I am actually satisfied with the way that's coming along. Um, what I will do is I'll clean up around the mouth with some distilled water when I'm finished. because you can kind of see a little bit of, my fingerprints or what have you are there. Maybe a little bit of paint is outside. So I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to use the air dry gun. I'm holding it maybe about 2 inches away, and I'm steadily kind of moving it. Let's see if you can see where I'm going. Just going over it. Now, the reason, like I said, that I'm doing it this way is so that I don't acquire paint rubs on the face, as well as I can go inside the mouth and paint and not worry so much about, oh, it's getting here, it's getting there, it's this, that, and the other, because I can squeeze the face and, get what it is that I would like to get. So she has to cool down a little bit. She's not very hot, but she is warm. So she does need to cool off a little bit. Then I'm going to do the third layer with this is a very sheer red wash. And I'll do the same sides. And then I think I will go in with a deeper red after that. So we're going to let her dry just a little bit. Okay. She's looking good. I keep holding it up as though you can really see it well, but you do see it. So she's nice. She's cooled off nicely. Um, Now, while I still have this light color paint out, I'm going to go over um, the roof of her mouth. And if you can see, there are gums. There are gums there. Let's see. You can see right there. So I'm going to go in with that. I'm not sure if this video is going to be very interesting to anyone because I'm just kind of going over these details. However, it is something that when you're painting, you come across it. Now, the inside of the mouth, the roof of the mouth, is usually kind of like a pink color. So I'm going around with this red wash because when it's a wash kind of like this, it gives the illusion of it maybe being pink because it's very faint. So I'm going across again in that way on the roof of the mouth. And let me see. Go on the roof of the mouth. I'm going to pounce that a little bit. Now I'm going to take a look at my picture here and kind of look and see how the gums would look. So on this baby, the gums are a very pale color, the top of the gums, and then the lower part is darker. So I think on this baby, I will make the roof of the mouth a little bit more red and faintly go across the gums. So what I'll do is I'm going to go across the gums a little bit here. I guess what I could do is speed the video up when I upload it so that it's not so long and tedious in a sense. However, I don't know. You might, I thought you might like to see in real time what I'm doing. So I'm going across the gums. I guess if I was videoing with my phone, you probably would see it better. Ah, but I don't have enough um, storage on my phone to record, and I keep emptying things out, but it's not enough that I empty because it won't give me enough space to what do you call it, to show, to video like this. So I'm gonna push it out a little bit more. I'm gonna push it out so that I can get a little bit more to that roof of the mouth. Now, now once the baby is done, um, you would not see, you're not going to be pushing the mouth out like this. But I like to have, um, the paint, to have all of the paint as much as I can, have everything painted. So again, I push the mouth, squeeze it, and I'm going across what's the roof of the mouth with this red. And I'm careful about pooling because I don't want any pooling. So I'm making sure about that. I'm tapping it out, pouncing it out. Okay. And then it goes right back. So I'm just kind of double checking and looking. I can see an area where it looks like I maybe missed. So I'm going back over those areas that I think I may have missed. And then I'm pouncing it. Although this is the wash and it's kind of, in a sense translucent, I like the way it looks when you begin with the eyelid purple and then you put these other colors on top. To me, it gives a really nice translucent look. So, yeah, I think so. So I'm going to use my heat gun again, kind of go over it. I'm going over it with the heat gun, steadily moving it. Okay, so I'm steadily moving the heat gun. Now around the mouth, I don't really have any color, excess color there. So I don't need to really do any cleaning around. I really don't need to, because some of the area, like the lips and what have you, they're going to have a little bit of, of course, color once I begin to paint. So, um, doing the rest of the face. So I'm pleased with the way this is coming out. And I so wish I could zoom in some kind of way. Um, let's see. any way that I can zoom in. Let's see if I can do anything. Where's my cursor? I don't see. Oh, there it is. Hmm. I don't know. I might not be able to see. This is. Oh no, this is the brightness. This is the camera. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think that I can. Yeah, I was hoping that I could do something. Let's see if I can. Um, okay, did I change the brightness a little bit? I don't know if that makes it any better or not. I don't know. Let's see. No, just trying to see to make it where you can see a little bit better inside. But okay, so I'm gonna let her dry a little bit more, and then we'll go in. I think with maybe the deeper colors. I guess while the mouth is drying, I'm going to go across the legs and the arms with another layer of this medium brown. And after that, I'll decide if I want to put a layer of the brown of the burnt umber, which would make it deeper in color. I haven't decided yet what it is, the exact color that I would like. And she's not telling me, so I'm kind of just going. Since she hasn't told me anything, maybe I haven't gone deep enough with the colors. So we'll see. Just kind of checking on these sponges to see what they're feeling like. These whispers are good in a sense because they do give you that skin texture look. However, I did mention before that I'm reconsidering using them, um, and maybe using some of my other sponges because they don't they don't last that long. As far as when you are, using them, I guess what I can do is use all of the sides of it so that I'm getting more usage from the sponge because they don't last that long. Um, even if I pre-moisten them, they still don't last that long. So I don't know. Um, just making mention of that. Um, as to what I'm thinking. So I'm going across. I'm gonna go across um, the limbs, the feet, and the tops of the feet. I'm not gonna go under the bottom sides. So I'm just kind of tapping around. I'm not worrying that much about the nails because the nails I will go ahead in and I'll do some cleaning on the nails. So I'm just kind of feathering it out a little bit on the sides. I'd put the paint more toward the middle and I'm feathering it out, being mindful of the sides of the toes a little bit. The sides, certain parts are going to remain the skin tone color, and some you will be able to still see some of the redness of the foot that's on the soles. So I'm turning the foot around every which way so that I can see. And I'm gonna go across with some more paint, making sure that I'm stirring it in between because it settles very quickly. Okay, I'm seeing a little area where I need to remove. or pout out some of the paint. Okay, so I'm doing that just to kind of be certain of the coloring. Let me go in a little bit with um small brush here with just a small amount of paint. I was looking at the news. Well, not really looking at the news. I'll take that back. I was on YouTube, and I do have a portion that allows me, I do get a little bit of news that way. So, in any event, I was looking, and Rob Reiner, the actor and director, was tragically murdered in his home. He and his wife, they were stabbed to death. Um, I don't know. Some of you may remember um, Laverne and Shirley. He was married to the character, well, to the actual person who played Laverne, which is Penny Marshall. She's passed many years ago, but nonetheless, they were married about 10 years, and they have a daughter. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she's a biological child or did they adopt her, but nonetheless, they have a daughter. And then later on, he married another woman, and I'm sorry, I forget what her name is, but that's the wife that was murdered alongside him. Um, yeah, so she was murdered alongside him. Now, everything just unfolded, so they haven't mentioned any suspects or motive or anything yet. At the time that I'm uploading this video, this had only just happened, and today is December the 15th, 2025. And this occurred a few hours back. They lived in California, so of course there's a time difference because I'm on Eastern Standard Time. And I believe they said it was yesterday afternoon. I believe that's what was said. But nonetheless, it's very shocking. He and his wife were, very nice, well respected people. It doesn't appear that they would have had, any enemies. But you never know. Everybody has someone who dislikes them for whatever the reason. And so oftentimes there really isn't a reason. People just are what they are. And, so, um, they're looking into every avenue of, what could maybe happen. So they're researching, they're looking into that quite well. Um, Now the thing about stabbing is something that, um, it takes effort to stab and kill someone. So, you know, they haven't released if they think it's anybody that they know or what, what was used to stab them. They have not released that information because depending on those different things, that could kind of tell you what it was. Now, of course, they said they're going to look into it being you know, uh, where they unalived one, and then themselves. However, like they said, they doubt that happened. But they haven't mentioned what they really think as of yet because it's unfolding. and I'm just checking my phone. I just heard a message. So they are, just kind of checking and everything to see what um, what happened. Now he's someone that, um, if you remember Laverne and Shirley, like I said, then also one very much iconic movie, When Harry Met Sally. He's a director. I believe he was the one who also did, I think he did Stand By Me. Um, uh, he's done quite a few movies as a director, and he just, was an overall nice man, and you never heard anything about him or his wife negative in the media. He did have some views politically, and so who knows if it could have been anything related to some of his views, or you know um so we don't know that as of yet. So it's just so unfortunate, because what gives someone the right to take another person's life like that, you know, to stab and kill both of them. So one, they haven't said if they think it was one person or multiple people, or what have you. But like they said, with the stabbing, it's usually a very um, bloody type scene. And they mention that there may be footprints, that are left behind, in in the blood, or what have you. They were just saying. So, you know so it's just so, uh, it's just so unfortunate, so unfortunate. It's a thing that happens oftentimes, and you may have noticed the end of the year and the beginning of the year, there'll be uh, more deaths. It seems like they'll start happening like a lot, the beginning and the end of the year. And we're coming toward the ending of the year. And yeah, so, uh, I mean, although obviously that was not a natural death, you know, they're thinking more of it as a homicide. So, yeah, so unfortunate. So very, very unfortunate. When Harry Met Sally is a very iconic, it's an iconic movie, with Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal in it. And it's a movie that I really enjoy. I remember seeing it. I don't know. I think I did. I think the first time I saw it, it may have been, I may have seen it in a theater when it was out. Um, hmm, I don't remember if I saw it in a theater. I think I maybe did see it in a theater. Um, Maybe I did. And yeah, so that's one of those movies that's very much uh, one of those iconic kind of movies that you always kind of remember. There are some scenes in there that are very much memorable. So if you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to see When Harry Met Sally, and I think you probably will enjoy it. Um, so yeah, I think it might be something that you might enjoy. When Harry Met Sally. Yeah, it's a good movie. And think I think he also directed Stand By Me, which is another very, good movie. It's kind of, I don't know, you may say, oh, well, you like horror movies. Why you don't like that? It's something, certain movies that, if I know what the storyline is ahead of time, I may not watch. Um, but Stand By Me, if I remember correctly, it involves children. And oftentimes I won't watch things, too many things that have children. If something, happens to them, you know, one of the one of the few movies that I will watch that something occurs with a child is I will watch Pet Cemetery, which of course is a horror, and you know that I do enjoy horror movies. So, so yeah, so that's a movie that I do like, and there's something with the child, and then of course I like The Exorcist, something with a child in that one too. Um, so there are some things that yes I will watch with children, but not, it's not something that I do a lot because I don't like that. Even like I'll watch true crime. That obviously those true crime are things that actually happen. And if it's something with a child, I won't watch it. I won't watch it. And there are even some of the those who run the free uh not free that run the well, I mean they are free, that run the crime true crime channels. Some of them won't cover children either. Some of them won't. There's one channel that I like a lot, and it is Bailey Sarion, and she does a true crime where it's called Murder Mystery Makeup, where she covers these crimes, and sometimes they are something that's recent, but she also covers true crime that has occurred, maybe decades ago, centuries, maybe another century or something. She also has a segment where she does, what is it called? Dark history, where she discusses things that happened during history that maybe people may not be aware of, that are dark, that are something that is, what the origin of something and how harmful it may be, or something like that. So I watch both. Like Mondays is usually her murder mystery makeup, and then on Thursdays she will do the dark history. um I actually prefer the murder mystery makeup part. I will look at the dark history because she is quite um entertaining when she's doing it. However, I found her channel first, with true crime. So I prefer watching her true crime content as opposed to the dark history. Because I'll actually search her channel for the true crime. And I know she did mention that it can be, um, you know, obviously it can be very depressing because she's researching it. I think she has some people that work along with her that help her do the research. I know she does have some people that work with her with the dark history. But I don't know if she has anyone with the crime, because I know she does mention that she does the research about it, so I don't know if anyone is helping her, but I know she did say that it can take a toll. And I think we could understand very much how something like that could take a toll because, obviously it's sad and what people, the horrors that the things that people will do that you wouldn't expect. I mean, my goodness. So, yeah, so she covers that. So I like those channels, and there's other channels that I like that are true crime. There's this other channel called Evil Intentions, and this is a gentleman out of New York, and he covers things that most often I think everything that he covers is in New York. Um, Now he will cover things with children that sometimes I have watched, um, but it is difficult to watch, those things. Now I'll watch true crime most every day. Um, and I can watch it, kind of all day, and then I'll take a break from watching it at all. Um, I'll do that. I mean, there are a lot of different true crime channels that, I will, watch. I do watch, sometimes I like watching um, the, what do you call it? Like the court TV um, things. It depends on what they are, who they're covering. I think the last trial that I actually really watched was the trial with ASAP Rocky. Um, I felt like this personal, I felt this personal thing with him because I really like Rihanna, always have, always have. And so, by proxy, it makes me like him. So I was, very much into the case. I was watching the case. I was praying for him and all of that. And, he was somebody, like I said, that was the last case that I followed. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll follow cases that maybe are lesser known. They're not maybe celebrities, they're just, you know, everyday citizens that maybe they did something and, what have you. What I'm doing is I'm taking some distilled water on this pointed Q-tip, and I'm just kind of feathering around out some areas that I got a little bit paint that I don't want the paint to be there. So I'm just kind of feathering that out. I'm gonna go across the rest of the arm. Yeah, so those are types of channels that I do enjoy watching the true crime. Um, you know, there used to be a series, and I think they run it on, I think it's on YouTube or maybe Facebook now that they run it. Um, and it's called Dangerous Women. Now this was fictional. This was fictional. However, it was enjoyable, to watch. And these women were considered dangerous women because they had done whatever it is that they were convicted of, and they were incarcerated. And it was just showing, different things, aspects, and it would show, maybe it would go over maybe what happened, that they were convicted of. But that was again fictional. It was very, very interesting. And you know, and the other one that I like, and this one is true, is Snapped. And sometimes I watch that now. I don't watch it as often, but I used to watch it a lot, where I would, keep up with the series and everything like that. So, but like I said, I don't watch it as much now, but I will sometimes get on a little bit of a binge and I'll watch it. So, yeah, that's what I'll do. I guess what I do a lot of times is I'll binge watch different genres. I'll do that because YouTube will, refer you to that. I know they were referring some suspense movies to me, and they were actually quite good. I've enjoyed them. Um, so they are quite interesting. I don't realize we are at an hour. My. Maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end the video here and come back and do a little bit more with the mouth. So what I would like to say is please do like, comment, subscribe, and share. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. Peace and blessings.